that clock management at the end of the halftime, again, we discussed that Friday. One thing we want to look at is Shanahan and clock management. It's a problem. And it reared its ugly head at the end of the first half. Now, the Niners were fortunate to be up 7-6, right?
Yes.
But the heck with that. It's a 3rd and 1. You let over 30 seconds, you lapse off the clock, and then you call a timeout before running the play. How about just get the first down, and then you call a timeout? Then you have 2 left. Sandy burns one on 3rd and 1. You get the first down. Then you burn another one right away. Now you're left with 1 timeout, 30 seconds left, and it's like, wait a minute, you're still technically not in field goal range. So Shanahan mentioned after the game that, here, I'll let Shanahan explain the lack of aggressiveness, Shasky, here, and then you can chime in on this.
I mean, I like that they didn't score. I like that we won at the end of the day. We did try to score. We had a chance there right after on 2nd down. Thought we had a chance for BA over the middle. Would have been a big play that got us inside the 10 with 2 shots to take it to the end zone. We didn't have the time to get it over the mic, and we ended up checking it down, and then we didn't get it. But that's how it works out. I thought we make sure they don't get another chance, but it's not like we were just playing for a field goal. We called for a big play. They played pretty deep.
Interesting. I don't know. The entire sequencing of some of the play calls and just their allocation of timeouts wasn't great. But I have to be fair here because the final, it was like 6:20, they got the ball back in the 4th quarter. I thought they did a great job of realizing this is probably going to be our last possession of the game. And, marching down the field the way they did because, I'm watching the game at the house. Rocco's over, Guido, and we're talking about I'm like, you just got to score. You can't worry about the clock and all that and trying to milk off all that time. Like, once you got down to the goal line and Purdy had that slide in and
score.
Yeah, just score. And they gave the ball back to Green Bay with a minute to go. I thought that 5-minute drive, I thought they did a great job, though, just allocating time, being patient, calm. Shanahan, Purdy, the 2 of them, the play calls were great. So, as bad as the end of the 2nd quarter was, I have to say you got to give him credit for that 4th quarter.
Yeah, no, the 4th quarter drive. And he mentioned it. He basically, Shanahan said halfway through it, you're thinking, oh, boy, this may be the last possession of the game. So maybe let's take our foot off the gas pedal just a little bit here. And you know what? They did that. 1:07 left with that defense. That should be enough time to close the deal and get to the NFC title game, and that's what they did with the interception there. But the first half, I wanted more aggressive. I want Shanahan to be a little more aggressive at the end of halftime or at the end of the first half. That was unacceptable.
Well, and I know everyone's pointing at the block kick from Jake Moody. He hits the big field goal later on in the game. And the extra point, don't sleep on the extra point because then it's just a field goal wins the game for Green Bay at the end of the game. So I think the extra point was something we overlook.
Yeah, Jake Moody was very, very, very solid. That was not a gimme kick. That was big time.
How hard was it coming down in that 4th quarter?
Not as hard. When was
the hardest part of the game?
I would say maybe early in the football game, but it was just a light drizzle. It was a light rain. It was light all day long. It just was constant.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't to me. Now,
it wasn't a downpour.
My seats, I'm protected by the rain.
Okay.
But it wasn't a downpour like, say, the Indianapolis Colts game.
Okay.
From a couple years ago. Okay. Remember that Sunday night football game against the Colts? Wasn't anything like that.
Or the Washington football game.
No, not even close to that.
Okay.
Not even close to that.
Okay.
Let's go to...
It's always tough to tell on television.
Oh, boy. We got some heavy hitters here. Oh, boy. Let's go to Brian and Palo Alto. We'll go there first.
What's up, BPA?
Morning, guys. How you doing? Just driving in this commute, which is not pretty, but yeah. So I think let's call a spade a spade. It was the worst coaching performance, in my opinion, as a head coach for Kyle Shanahan since he's been at the 49ers. The team was unprepared. Wilkes was unprepared. He didn't coach scared. He coached terrified. I mean, that end of the first half sequence was horrendous. And Shasky, I've been harping on this for a while. Coach Urk's been low-key bad this year as a D-line coach. First drive of the game, after you've waited, 2 months to get a healthy Armstead and all these other guys? Sebastian Joseph Day, Javon Kinlaw, Randy Gregory on the first drive.
I was going
Green Bay is cruising down the field. A
7-minute drive.
It's like, what on earth is his staff doing, right? They're running this like it's an exhibition game. And that was the whole tone of the game, right? Like Green Bay was out attacking and putting it all on the table, and the Niners just were like Yeah, we're just going to throw it out there. We're not going to do a whole lot of coaching today. And they were easy pickings. Wilkes, no disguising coverage, no pressures. Hey, when they chip Bosa every play, that means they're basically taking a receiver out of the route, which means you could send a guy, right? Like, there's things,
Well, do you want to blitz, though, BPA? Do you want to blitz knowing that Ambry Thomas is struggling
and
on the
you were
edge?
missing
Yeah,
tackles.
you know what? There's a thing called safety help, right, that you can do there, right?
Well,
so, on the other side,
you trust Logan Ryan? Logan Ryan on that play when Aaron Jones broke that long run. Logan Ryan definitely whipped on a few tackles. Go ahead, BP.
On the pantheon of bad decisions was starting Logan Ryan, who's, Logan Ryan was, on his couch a month ago, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then Sebastian Joseph Day. I can't get this guy's name out of my head, Chad.
Dude,
he only played 10 snaps.
But I'm
He only
with
played
BPA.
10 snaps.
I keep thinking of Daniel Simpson Day from Animal House, right? One of the characters. And, this guy was he was out of the league a month ago, right? For a reason.
That's what I'm saying.
And, man.
He played 10 snaps. You know what? Let's be real. Let's stop with the Bosa stuff. Bosa's the highest paid defensive player in all of football. Stop giving this guy a pass. Get after the damn quarterback. Beat the chip. Contain in the run game. Big Bosa. It starts with him, Brian. Let's stop. Joseph Day played 10 snaps yesterday. 10 snaps.
Can I make one more point?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah,
okay, sorry. And then I'll let you guys go. I know you guys have other priorities, but I would say this is the theme of the week. It's a bounce back week for Shanahan. Can he bounce back? Because he was a absolute hot mess on Saturday, and so can he bounce back? Can he command his
So let me ask you this, Sid. You know what?
Well,
Now I got to ask you this.
The fourth quarter was a great fourth quarter for Shanahan.
BPA, so are you blaming Shanahan for Brock Purdy's performance? That's what it sounds like to me.
I would say if the team was sharp, but it was just Purdy who was down. By the way, the standards we hold a second-year quarterback, right? Oh. Go look at Tom Brady in the snow game. How well did he play in the first three quarters of that? So let's chill out a little bit, right? If the team had been sharp, and it was just Purdy, then you could say, hey, Purdy's the problem. But come on, the whole team was terrible, and you know it. You know it. I'm right.
Okay,
and it's
BPA,
okay.
Bye-bye.
It's okay.
Bye-bye. Because now we're doing this. We hold the second-year quarterback to a higher standard. Well, I say, where the hell was that at with Trey Lance? Because, boy, Trey Lance played the game, and we took 3 games to say he wasn't ready. With the standard. No, it has to do with the quarterbacks here. Now we're being too harsh on Brock Purdy. Now he's in his second year. He's the MVP, but now he's in his second year. I expect the MVP candidate to play like an MVP. He didn't do that on Saturday. He saved his best for last in the fourth quarter, but for 3 quarters, he didn't play like an MVP.
No.
That's the standard now for Brock Purdy. That's the standard.
Well, and I think that's why I was so rattled by how inaccurate he was. Because he has been great all year. Game here, a fourth quarter there. But for the most part of his 25 starts, he's been brilliant. Right. And so I had never seen him that routinely accurate outside of the Raven game.
Did Kyle Shanahan coach scared because he says that Brock Purdy was a little inconsistent?
That I don't know.
Was because Shanahan shut his playbook down because he thought, boy, Purdy doesn't have it.
If that's the case, then why aren't you running
passing? Yeah, you should run the ball.
If that because when you say shutting the playbook down, that means being more predictable runs.
No doubt.
I don't think they did that. I thought it felt like to me they didn't pivot off of the Debo heavy game plan, and when Debo went out, I think it threw them for a loop. And I'm trying to understand, or maybe just Green Bay had a better
I don't know.
scheme, or they were just outwilling us up front.
Players got to play better. Coaches got to coach better. But don't come in here telling me that I need to give Brock Purdy more leeway in his second year when he was an MVP candidate for most of the season and he broke the single-season passing yardage mark in 49ers franchise history. We can't all of a sudden regress and pivot and say, well, he is only in his second year. Not when you play like Brock Purdy did. And what we said all year with Brock Purdy, doesn't look like a second-year pro. Looks like he's been in the league for 7 years.
No doubt.
So I'm not here for that excuse.
No doubt.
Not today. Not tomorrow and not next week.
Well, the thing that was baffling to me, I mean, just absolutely baffling, was the Logan Ryan's decision. And I'm with him on that. Like, Jair Brown, I don't even know if he's any good. I don't even know. I'm throwing my hands up, but he's a third-round pick. And obviously the Hufanga injury, it forced your hand, and we miss him. And you have Jair Brown playing. I don't know how well he was playing. I'm not really sure. I know people were up and down on him taking poor angles. Logan Ryan had a bad game.
He was terrible.
And on that one big run by Aaron Jones, he just comes up and is just eating grass.
No, he ducked his head and whiffed on the tackle. You can't do that.
And he looked tiny out there. I mean, this guy's been on a zillion teams and has been here for a couple of weeks. And so to see him playing exclusively at safety was surprising. Yeah, it was very surprising.
Well, Shanahan mentioned it after the game. He said Jair Brown hadn't played in a month, and they didn't want to throw him out there in a playoff game and put that much pressure on him. Well, if that's the case, then we definitely not see him in the NFC Championship game. If that's the case for a divisional round game, we probably won't see Jair Brown until next season. But you know what? Talanoa Hufanga. That loss looms large. And I think a lot of people underrated 100%. I think a lot of people underrated him. Oh, man, he's missed some tackles. Oh, he takes poor angles. But that man is a ball hawk. And he will come and hit you. So the Niners miss him on the back end. No doubt about that.
I think you're 100% spot on with that. We absolutely miss him. He's not a perfect player, but he's a really good player. And the drop-off has been – it's been noticeable. And that's when you know your safety play isn't great.